Aloha and welcome to another episode of Cape and Cowl Unlimited, the place for everything superhero and all that's awesome in between. I'm your host Alex Burns and I'm joined with this guy, Stephen Carter.
Hey.
Okay guys, so we're delving into the Deadpool movie this time. It's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. We are going to warn you, it's a spoiler-filled cast. So we will be talking big time about plot elements. If you want to check out a spoiler-free review, head to capeandcowl.co.uk, the link's in the bio. But let's kick things off, man. Okay, so when you checked out this movie over Valentine's weekend, how did you get it? What was your overwhelming reaction?
Oh,
Try and put it into words.
I know, words can't describe it. It was incredible. It was a really, really good film. It was everything that I hoped and more, really, from the film. I didn't expect it to be as good as what I was, what I was anticipating.
And you were anticipating it to be. You were. To be honest,
I was expecting it to be good, but I thought it would kind of fall into sort of the generic Marvel film thing. It's sort of like, it's good, but it's probably going to be forgettable.
Were you worried Fox were involved still?
Yeah, I was thinking there was going to be a lot of involvement. Fox are still keen to sell out toys, even though it's a 15. So
True. Yeah, so that's a good thing. I mean, the R rating. Do you think that helped?
To gather interest for the geeks and stuff like that, because Deadpool's not a kiddie-friendly hero, comic book wise or not.
No. Not in terms of what your parents would allow you to read when you're that age.
Exactly.
In terms of like 14-year-old, 15-year-old comic book fans, I think he's the epitome of what you want. Like ultra violent, not in a like comic books cause violence or anything like that, but he's just savage. It's the same way Dragon Ball Z was awesome when you were a kid because of the violence.
It's just fun. It's just on another level of insane, really, when it comes to that sort of characterization. It's uber violent, and then he breaks it off with some dark humor in between.
And the humor worked for you.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely on point. Like I said, this is the closest thing the closest film adaptation that I've come across, really, that comes close to the comics.
Yeah.
And it was just so enjoyable. I mean, we've had iterations before of Deadpool coming out before, where we had computer games. We also had the cartoon, the animated series, where Deadpool intervened. And he was always sort of he was the funny comic relief guy, but he was always subdued in some way as well.
Censored.
It's kind of held back.
Sort of let him go full hog.
Exactly. I mean, the computer game went a little bit further, so we had a couple, little bits of swearing and stuff like that. But again, it felt a little bit juvenile to me.
Yeah. But
this was full on Deadpool.
Because that was the worry, wasn't it? As we say, it is a comic book where you probably get into it when you're 13, 14 or whatever, and you keep reading, and it still appeals to some people, but other people sort of move away from it because they sort of see it as a bit of a lower level, like a bit of toilet humour sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those fans. I've never really read the Deadpool comics, but I was intrigued by the concept. I went with my spouse and for Valentine's Day, and I think that
Did you trick her into it with the
No, I didn't.
Valentine's Day?
No, there were. I mean, the marketing was great. But, fantastic effort. I think that a lot of people were going to see that movie for Valentine's Day, and it was a cool little spin on it because Ryan Reynolds, his narration, he introduces it as a love story. Mm-hmm. A Deadpool love story.
You've got to get past it. It's not the love story in the traditional sense of film, really. It's a Deadpool love story. So they. Like in the famous words of Trevor from GTA 5, they fall in lust.
That's Ryan Reynolds and Monica Baccarin, isn't it?
Yes,
her character. Yeah,
that's it.
Both excellent. Both Ryan Reynolds. I suppose we should talk more about him just on his own first off, because this film is pretty much his baby.
Yes, this is definitely a labour of love. I mean, the whole film, it very nearly didn't happen, to be honest. Ever since the abortion that was Wolverine Origins, they completely misjudged the character. It wrote it into something that was almost unrecognisable as a character. I mean, they had the character Wade down.
Yeah.
Wade Wilson, but that's as far as it went.
And then he becomes this very strange Deadpool creature at the end.
That was
bizarre.
That was
not obviously what fans wanted, which was weird because Hugh Jackman made origins to try and service the fans, you know, try and give them, because he's heavily involved in the movies. But Ryan Reynolds, he's championed this character for a long time, and you have to give him credit because he's endured like a horrendous time.
It was only a couple of years ago that. Well, yeah, that's true. I was going to say it was only a couple of years ago where Fox revealed that they had no plans to make this film at all. Out of the blue it came. Sort of, we had first of all we had that leaked test footage, didn't we? Which is predominantly CGI and everything like that. But that did the rounds on the internet. It went viral easily. And one thing led to another, and it started a very successful viral ad campaign. Again, there was all this umming and ahhing about whether it was actually going to be sort of a bit, PG-13 or something like that. And then... Again, Ryan Reynolds came to the rescue there with an online interview and pretty much cut off the interviewer's head and said, "Yeah, of course it's going to be rated R." That sort of thing.
Oh, that was with Slater and Saved by the Bell, wasn't it? Mario Lopez. I remember seeing that. But it's Ryan Reynolds, and he's done so well. He understands why people gravitate towards this character, and he, aside from all the atrocities like he's been involved in,
atrocities.
Well, he has. Green Lantern, R.I.P.D. We listed them before. We're not here to bash. We're here to celebrate him because he's come of age with this film.
Yeah,
and it's deserved because you can tell he's all over this. He's like a producer. He's had a hand in writing the film. He's got it going, really him selling this film. Plus also his mask is on in all these posters. It's not the Ryan Reynolds movie, to a lot of people just sort of seeing this on the street. It is, I think they've benefited from Deadpool looking a lot like Spider-Man, just in terms of but a different kind of hero.
Yeah, well, this is one of the few films where Deadpool has his mask on for most of the film now. I mean, you do get a lot of superheroes where the actor wants a lot of FaceTime and everything like that. I mean, I think that was one of the critics from the Dark Knight series when the Dark Knight Returns or the Dark Knight Rises. What was it? It was less than half an hour of him in costume. Or
it was
like
a bit of
2.5 hour film.
It's unfortunate, but I see where you're coming from. Yeah, it's just the idea of like if the superhero is going to be in it, put him in the movie. And Deadpool was all over this film, man. I mean, we'll get into it. Okay, so the movie opens with a great sort of scene. The credits come up and it's not Ryan Reynolds, it's overpaid actor or whatever, things like this. Bag, like great sort of straight away sets the tone. It's all in slow motion. There's that song playing. Well, I can't remember how. It's a love song.
Yeah, just call me. Yeah, there you go. I'll go into details.
Who would love to see that rendition though, Steve? Come on, no, not into it. Not a karaoke. Oh, okay. So you open on that, and you then basically you spend a good portion of the movie on that bridge with this insane action sequence.
I was surprised how much that scene was pivotal to the film. You keep coming back to it and everything. I don't know how much they must have spent the majority of the budget on that film, that one particular scene, so they just got their money's worth.
But I mean, it wasn't all a CG fest. They did a good sort of trick of combining practical effects with stunt work and everything like that, and it has a humble budget. So we'll come on to I suppose the X-Men that appear. Deadpool makes some great references to 20th Century Fox and Wolverine. How did this movie get made? Things like that.
Exactly.
And the fact that when he rolls up to the X Mansion, and I won't go into spoilers, but it's not. It kind of looks. It looks. But we can. Oh, of course. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not holding back here. So he rocks up to the X Mansion. And it just looks like a set, and he opens the door and it's like a sitcom.
Yeah.
And she answers it. There's no students behind her. And Colossus it can hear the voice, Deadpool, is that you?
That's it.
And it's just like, I wonder why you're the only two X-Men. It's like the studio couldn't afford more.
Yeah, that's it.
And you do get that vibe, like, they haven't got a lot of money, man. They're just doing this pure on a dream. Someone's, it's kind of like 20th Century Fox are letting them be naughty.
Yeah. And going on that naughty theme as well, I was quite surprised at the post-credit scene as well, where they were saying, he comes up sort of Ferris Bueller style, Ferris Bueller's Day Off style sort of thing, in his dressing gown in the robe, down the white hallway and everything. It's like, what do you expect? Do you reckon Sam Jackson's going to come up and with an eye patch and say, this is more of a role? But yeah, I thought that reference there, I thought, wow, that they're sort of tiptoeing, they're sort of going risque here, because they don't even own the rights to Nick Fury.
No, true.
I think obviously they're skated around the issue by mentioning the actor rather than the character and stuff like that. But
well, it was just the success of the movie is it's so meta. It's just on point, big time, and it just delivers with the humour. I mean, a lot of it was, for me, a lot of it was kind of like, how much can they hurl at the screen and make it stick, because it is a joke every minute, you know.
Kind of, yeah.
Most of it works. Some of it didn't do it for me, you know. But
yeah, there were some serious
nailed
points.
It for you.
Yeah, I mean, it nailed it for me. I mean, there were some serious points in it where obviously you've got the point where Wade finally becomes Deadpool with his, you know, severely scarred body and everything like that, and obviously that seemed pretty intense. And then you get his focus, and you actually sympathise with the hero as to his cause for getting revenge and everything like that. Like this guy just absolutely hated him when he was being tortured and everything like that. And that serious tone sort of, you know, kind of grounded it for a little bit, and then obviously
sort of move out from
you go
there.
back to the sort of humour side of things.
In terms of Ajax, what is it, Ed Skrein or something?
Ed Skrein.
Ed Skrein. How did you find him?
He was good. I mean, I think, to be honest, there was some. I mean, he came across as a good character anyway. He played his role really, the British villain.
Yeah, but very, very good. And I don't know, he kind of irked me a little bit. But I suppose, you know, when you've got a character so outlandish as Deadpool, and you're not filling it with similar. You
can't really have him rebound off a character that's just as colourful. Yeah, really, he's going to get lost. So that's why I thought that the supporting cast was very much background. I mean, to be honest, the biggest one they had was possibly T.J. Miller, really, as a comedy.
And he worked well. You know, I like the scenes in the bar, and you know the way they handled Deadpool, Wade being diagnosed with the cancer was done well, considering it's such a. I find, you know, maybe I'm a bit too precious, but I find it like quite a sensitive topic to joke about. Well, yeah. It is. You know, they handled it in a really nice way, and the fact that the love story was core to all of the horror that was going on in his life. You know, it kept bringing it back to, okay, he may be a nutcase, but he's doing it for the right reasons. So that's why he's a hero, and not just a murderer. You know, in a way. And the Colossus bit at the end, where it's like 4 or 5 moments. Wait, you know, that defines you as a hero. It's not every day you wake up and you're a superhero.
Yeah,
it's a few moments in your lifetime, and he just shoots the guy anyway. You know? But it was a great twist, because, you know, in every other superhero movie you've seen, you'll spare the villain. You know, it's like Batman will chuck the Joker off the roof, but he's gonna stop him from falling, because, you know, that'll save people. No guns, no killing. Exactly. But he did a great job. I mean, overall, I was happy when I left it. I mean, there was a guy in the back row who just, I don't know if he was like a plant by the studio, because he was just laughing. Like,
was he?
But he was like, he got into like a coughing fit at one point, and I was just like, dude, I'm like, come on, man, it's funny, but like, it's not that funny. Like he was, all the in jokes, it was just like boom, boom. The Deadpool action figure came up, and I thought he would like gonna fall out of his seat or something. Yeah. But it did a great job of making you aware of what had come before. You know, the don't make my suit green or animated. You know, in reference to Green Lantern.
I was still surprised by the amount of people that laughed at the cinema at that. I was like, that happened in the trailer.
And then it's kind of like, who went to see Green Lantern to find this funny anyway? You know, is it a cinema full of comic book fans? But, you know, I think it's reached a wider audience now. So, I mean, Deadpool 2 would be crazy. But let's get on to some negatives, man. There are some in there.
There's one or two dotted about. So, like I say, supporting cast is a little bit two-dimensional. For me, Colossus irked me the most. Although his look was good.
Well, I have reservations about his whole look. I think the film showed its budget with Colossus, to be perfectly honest. I can see where you're coming from there. I mean, like I say, I kind of like the look purely because of the fact that it was getting closer to his original comic book. Oh, in terms of like him looking good, but he definitely looked like an effect and not a real person who was covered in chrome. which is why he's been used so sparingly in the X-Men movies.
I mean,
it is
to be honest,
hard effect.
I think I noticed a couple of wrinkles when he was sitting in the taxi, so I think it did look a bit costumey.
Yeah.
Sort of it in there, but no, I mean, it was the character that bugged me the most because, to be honest, I didn't think that's how Colossus would normally act, trying to be the responsible guy, trying to bring Deadpool around or anything like that.
Plus, he was like a Russian stereotype. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, he is Russian anyway.
I know, but he became like a caricature of like that Russian character in a funny movie.
Yeah.
You know, it was just sort of like the things he was saying, his broken English.
It was in the same lines as who's the guy, the Rhino in Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, Paul Giamatti, someone. The bald dude.
We'll get back to that. Yeah,
We'll
but yeah, it was almost on the lines of that sort of
Yeah.
like very outlandish sort of Russian accent.
Yeah, Negasonic Teenage Warhead though, she worked. I thought she was fun. Yeah,
she was good. It was great. I mean, yeah, typical moody teenager.
I think
sort of
she got away with not actually having to say a lot. So whereas Colossus got
lumbered, teenager.
Yeah, Colossus got lumbered with all this dialogue, and I think it didn't help him. Whereas she just got reactions, and she just got to sort of be the fun little scallywag who like the kid in the audience who actually does really like Deadpool, but might be way more into their Twitter feed. Hashtag I'm at Deadpool, not watching it. So.
No, I mean, it was one of those things there. I mean, it's like when you go back to the game as well. I don't know if you ever played the game.
I played bits of it with Nolan North. That one.
Yeah,
Nolan North as the
voice actor. Yeah. And it happened the same for me when Wolverine was there as well. It's just that whole thing of someone serious trying to offset this guy that's so wayward.
The straight guy.
Yeah,
he had about 5 or 6 straight guys. I don't think it needed so many.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like people trying to get way back onto the normal path, and that for me is where I'm worried about where the second movie is going to go, because obviously it's Cable, isn't it?
Yeah.
That they want to have. I mean, he was name dropped heavily in that film, and that's why I'm worried that might go into that sort of path of Cable's going to be this straight guy, and it's going to be sort of.
Yeah, well, we'll get on more about the sequel in our actual podcast, which you can check out in the link below. We're doing a special Deadpool podcast, but overall, we're super happy with the Deadpool movie.
Over the moon.
It delivered. If you're a Deadpool fan like this guy, man, it's probably in your top movies. So it's making all the bank. It's getting great reviews. We're just happy that it's come good because it's doing something different for the superhero genre.
It's set to have very high standards. So Batman and Superman's got a lot to live up to.
Oh, different kind of movie,
pressure.
But all kinds of different pressures from an audience perspective.
Yeah.
But we'll get more into the details really of the Deadpool influence and what it may mean for the comic book genre going forward, because there's a lot of people in Hollywood taking note of how much money this movie's making.
People have been looking closer.
So get ready for a lot of green lights to go off, man, because they're going to be lighting up all these kind of projects. So thank you guys for tuning in for our spoiler-filled Deadpool review. As always, thanks again, and like and subscribe. Check out capeandcowl.co.uk for more on Deadpool. It's all in the news there, and as before I mentioned, that spoiler-free review, check it out. There's a bit more insight into the ins and outs of the movie. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.